Here I am. They're going to have something called a T-shirt bar. If you're not familiar with this, they're going to have the T-shirts, and then you get to pick the design, the logo. It's going to be pressed and printed right there in front of you, so you can basically pick and choose anything you want that has Warrior gear. That's going to be coming up in a few weeks, so stay tuned at THS Athletics social media pages to know when those dates are.
I love it. On second down, shotgun formation, handoff, and that one was maybe not what they were hoping for, as we lose a couple of yards there, and I believe, yes, that will take us to halftime. Warriors 42, Wildcats 0. Christina Chambers is down on the field with head coach Mark Freeman.
Coach, you guys got off to a fast start. How were you guys able to find success on both sides of the ball in this first half?
We just had a good week of practice, and they came out and executed. I think we played good last week, and I think we built on a good week of practice, came out today and executed, and hopefully it'll be a good night, rest of the night, and a lot of kids get to play, hopefully, the second half.
What's your message to your team to keep them energized no matter who goes in the second half?
Just as we're playing against ourselves, it's every region game, it's a game against ourselves. We're not playing the opponent, no matter who it is, and we got to measure ourselves when we go in tonight. How did we play? And you know, a lot of guys will get a chance tonight to get playing time, and they won't play in time. We'll see what they can do.
All right, Coach, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Christina, thank you so much. Halftime show coming up with Tim Melton and Brian Pavlik. Warriors 42, Wildcats 0. This is Warrior Football on the Warrior Nation Network.
Most commercials tell you the same thing. They're always blabbing about buy this, go here, eat that. Or some experts on there trying to convince you of the next big thing. Although that's great and all, this isn't one of those commercials. Here in Shelby County, we let it speak for itself. Discover Shelby. Find your trail.
Full Moon Barbecue is proud to be a corporate sponsor of Thompson High School. Since 2006, Full Moon Barbecue's Alabaster location has been a proud supporter of the athletics, academics, and the entire community. From church to schools to special events, they do it all. You can always trust Full Moon Barbecue to give you the best quality food and service. Come in or call Full Moon Barbecue today for the best barbecue in town.
Welcome in. This is the Halftime Show on the Warrior Nation Network. We want to thank everyone tuning in on Facebook, the NFHS Network, and at ThompsonWarriors.org. I am Tim Melton. That is Brian Pavlik. And, Brian, we have witnessed a first half that is by far and away the most complete first half that we've witnessed so far this season, 42-0. The hometown Thompson Warriors.
Yeah, no contest. They would call it off in Madison Square Garden after the 5th round. But here we are. It's going to be an interesting 24 minutes because this is where you call new names. This is where you give those players who have worked all season and all year. You're going to see some seniors. We're going to hear some names. It's actually going to be fun because you're going to see some kids get a chance, and you watch and see how the team, the first team, responds when there's big plays and big moments. That's what's going to be fun in the second half.
I do want to give Tuscaloosa County some credit here. They are committed to the veer. They have not veered away from it in any regard. And every single one of their skill players that touches the football gets hit immediately by a Thompson defensive player. That defensive pressure and intensity that we've seen all throughout this first half, I would not want to be taking those hits tonight.
Yeah, and the bad thing about it is we don't even give them a real chance to go into a locker room. We just have them go over on a hill behind the stadium, and they've just got to be looking at each other in the dark and saying, guys, just hang in there, keep battling, keep fighting, and it'll happen one day. You'll break one free, but it may not be this game, my friends.
We will get into more of what we've witnessed here in the first half momentarily on this halftime show on the Warrior Nation Network. We do want to remind you to listen to our coverage all year long on ThompsonWarriors.org and there on the NFHS Network. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the road to the Super 7 presented by Coca-Cola. We're going to take a look at how the Warriors are trending and where they're going as the road to the Super 7 certainly runs through Warrior Stadium. let's go ahead and start there with what we saw in week number 1. That was the game that kicked off the season here at Warrior Stadium.
Yeah, we had a Thursday night start, so that's not a problem. But now it just seems like a traditional Friday night, nice night here in September. I believe the temperature has cooled down, but it was that kind of wet start, 6-6 at halftime, and then Thompson just completely ran away. Completely different story last week, where it seemed like we were dominating Grayson. And that's tough to say because I'm looking ahead at a score right now. If you want to know how good Grayson really is, well, they're playing Mallard Creek out of North Carolina right now at halftime. Grayson 35-6.
I think both of the teams, Thompson and Grayson, getting better off of that joint venture that we saw over in Georgia a week ago. And you're already seeing the character that's been built and the resiliency that we've seen from this Thompson Warriors team tonight coming off of that road trip there in the Peach State.
They called it, we said last week in soccer, they call it a friendly. That was as a friendly as you get, just a competitive game. Two great clubs, organizations, if you will. And here they are, both benefiting, like you said, Tim. So Grayson, Thompson, definitely two of the nation's best, and they're proving it.
And they've played multiple years. It's come down to a 2-point conversion in both games. And unfortunately, Thompson coming up short in both of those by 1 point in overtime. Let's now go ahead and take a look at what's been happening here tonight. Once again, 42-0. No matter what transpires for the rest of the evening, this will be the most Thompson points scored throughout this point of the season.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, this is the first that the Tuscaloosa County crowd has had a chance to cheer because the band is on the field, and it's actually a pretty good halftime show developing in front of our eyes. But the play on the field, it's just going to take time. You had a lot of losses last year. It was going to be a difficult task anyway to come in here to Warrior Stadium and do something miraculous. And you're really doing what we thought we'd expect, but we kind of were like, hopefully it's more competitive. Well, here it is, 42-0 at halftime. It looks like we're on the road to Oak Mountain next week.
Yeah, let's go ahead and continue on through the schedule. Oak Mountain, that's going to be a game that is going to be a region game on the road, the first region game on the road this season. It's going to be a challenge to go travel within region with this amount of poise that we've seen, but that's exactly what a game like that Grayson game gets you ready for when you're taking much shorter distances to get to a rival.
Oh, by the way, I'm okay with away games being 2 exits away. That's okay with me, but it looks like it might show up to be another big win for Thompson if I'm looking ahead, because right now, as I look at some scores, Prattville has an early 7-0 lead on Oak Mountain, so that was a little more tightly contested than we thought, but I do think you're going to see a lot more of the same next week with this Thompson team, especially if they have the hunger and the drive that they want. I believe after that, then we start getting into some of the bread and butter here, because we will have our third home game of 4 in 2 weeks, so that'll be in 2 weeks here, and I believe that one's going to be against Vestavia Hills. That one's going to be a very interesting one. They're in a tight one with Hewitt-Trussville right now, 7-7. Those two offenses have averaged about 50 points to start the season. Their two defenses have been around 10, 14 points. So right now, for that game to be 7-7, that is a big kind of one that we're kind of keeping our eyes on a little bit outside of this game, because that could very well be the second, maybe even third place team in the region. Of course, we have a non-region game scheduled against Clay Chalkville, so that's going to be important. So as we look ahead to that, right now they're leading Pell City 24-6, and then of course it gets really interesting with some of those other scores. But I'll go ahead and start telling you the big upset that is developing right now. 22-16. I say Hillcrest first, then I say Hoover. Now, Hoover played IMG and then came back and they beat Spain Park last week. But for Hillcrest to have a lead, there was something sneaky good about that Hillcrest team that's going to come here for homecoming. And if they can pull the upset off of Hoover and maybe pick off a couple of these other teams, that fourth and final home game here in Warrior Stadium, that could actually be an interesting one. We weren't counting on being a big game. So as you look ahead with, as I mentioned, Clay Chalkville, we talked about Hewitt a little bit on the road. Never fun to go to Hewitt and play, but we're going to have to do that this year. But that Hillcrest game might be a sneaky good game if they pull off the upset against Hoover and maybe pick off a couple of these other opponents.
I'm looking very forward to the remainder of the schedule. Once again, tonight, Tuscaloosa County in town. We then travel to Oak Mountain. Then welcome in Vestavia. I've got that one circled. That's going to be a hungry Rebel team looking to try to insert their dominance here into the region and region play for sure. Obviously coming off of huge wins and a very impactful start to the season there for a Vestavia team that's always been hungry to try to reemerge here in this region.
Yeah, the question is, do you want a deflated Hewitt or Vestavia team who's coming off of whoever loses that game tonight, or do you want one who is now starting the season 3-0 and looking very impressive in doing? It's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Vestavia and Hewitt, always going to be tough outs. I think this year in particular, even more so, especially Hewitt on the road. Vestavia comes here. Vestavia always just has just something up their sleeve against Thompson, especially here in Warrior Stadium. They feel very comfortable here. They always feel they can pull that upset. Maybe it's this year, but I hope not. We'll just have to see. But again, interesting score right now with those two teams tied 7-7.
Make sure you're here on September 19th. It is going to be an impactful home game for sure. And in the final 5 games of the season, once again, only one home game there before we figure out how the playoffs shape up for sure. Once again, the road to the Super 7, it runs through Warrior Stadium, and we appreciate this segment being presented by Coca-Cola. We are getting set for the Marching Southern Sounds to take to the field. Brian, there's a lot of seniors that are a part of these Marching Southern Sounds that are looking to put on a show tonight for the hometown crowd and for their families that are here in support on senior night, a very important set of festivities that have taken place here in Warrior Stadium this evening, and a lot of support and respect being shown by the crowd here in the stands that are seeing not only some great football in the first half, but also going to see a great halftime show.
Yeah, we mentioned Reignited is the theme this year, and that can take on so many meanings, of course. It's a throwback to a show a few years ago under Mr. Graham Bennett and everybody in between. You know, we talked about the state champions that we were celebrating with softball and the ones that won official, like on the sports or in the competitive environment. The band has also won competitions. They're traveling. They're trying to get a trip to Hawaii. Tim, we should be able to color commentate on that, I think, right, if we get the trip to Hawaii. But as the Marching Southern Sounds is called out over the airways, we're going to let you hear the best band, not just in Alabaster, but not just in Central Alabama, but proven many times over in the state and in the nation. You're looking at one of the best. That's the Marching Southern Sounds here at halftime.
All right, let's go ahead and take it down to the field. We're getting excited to see the show that they're going to be putting on for all of us here as we're bringing you all the action from the football team and from the band here on the Warrior Nation Network. We'll have the second half call coming up. The voice of the Warriors, Matthew Moyer, will be joining us back in the booth here momentarily. Let's go ahead and take it down to the field.
can you tell it's gonna be a good day? Well, Wendy's breakfast, like a delish breakfast Baconator, sausage breakfast burrito, or Honey Buddy, can turn your day from bland into OMG, OMG, OMG. Fresh cracked eggs, crispy bacon, and seasoned potatoes. This is so yumma-delicious fast. Is that a word? When you want more out of mornings, gotta be Wendy's.
Hey Warrior family, are you in need of any carpet cleaning services? Steamworks' highly trained and top-rated team has been the carpet and upholstery cleaner of choice for many local residents and businesses in the Birmingham metro area since 2005. We use the industry's most advanced cleaning equipment to clean your carpets, rugs, tiles, upholstery, and hardwood floors to the utmost satisfaction. For a cleaner and healthier home, call Steamworks today at 205-365-1908 and ask about our 3-room special for $120. And go Warriors!
$20. I can name all 26 beat-up sauces.
Tim just found out his job is a pyramid scheme.
Oh, okay. Would hearing about the sauces cheer you up? Mango habanero, Nashville hot, Shaman jalapeno, mild, wild, medium.
I'm Dr. Michael Patterson. I'm the team physician for Thompson Warriors. This will be my 16th year on the sideline, and we're excited about the upcoming season. I'm also excited to be partnering with Baptist Health as Baptist Health Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. We continue to provide state-of-the-art sports medicine and orthopedics and return our athletes in a safe and timely manner. We understand the importance of early evaluation and returning our patients back to their active lifestyle. Go Warriors!
Rated by Golf Week magazine as one of Alabama's top 10 courses, Timberline Golf Club, located just minutes from Birmingham in Calera, is the perfect place to play. Timberline is the perfect place for a golf outing for your business or charity, and a wonderful club to make it your home course. Tee it up at Timberline, and you'll want to return time and time again. To book a round or for membership, visit them at timberlinegc.com. It's my home course, and it should be yours too.
Just about 75 seconds away from the kick here in half number 2. Warrior Stadium, Thompson 42, Tuscaloosa County 0. Going to learn a lot about some of our younger players here in the second half. I would imagine we will see some seniors get some time. Be an entertaining second half. To say the least.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fun part of this gig is you're looking at the roster thinking, oh, who we might see, who we might call, and if I've got a fun story or a stat about them. But the more important thing is you're on your way to that big milestone victory. 500 is only 24 minutes away. It might be a running clock, but it's 24 minutes of game time away from a huge, significant program-defining win. Even though it's Tuscaloosa County, even though it's going to be labeled as a blowout, for a program to have that many wins is just incredible. And it speaks a lot to not only just the history of what we have at Thompson High School, especially as I'm looking to the left at our field house, and you see that 1982 state champion that probably would have been the only one that this part of the world would have ever dreamed of. And then you see 19, 20, 21, 22, 24. What has happened in the last 10-plus seasons of Thompson football? That 400 win mark grew to 500 very quickly, Matthew.
And at halftime of our first game of the season, that Carver game, Tim Melton got a chance to interview the guy that started with the design, Dr. Vickers, and what an incredible vision that he had. I would love to know, in his quiet moments, is this what he envisioned when he first came here?
Yeah, and if you look,
boy, oh boy,
if you look, the stands are still packed.
Oh yes, they are.
Nobody's gone anywhere except just to kind of mingle with some friends and family. I'm not seeing the red taillights of the car or anything. People are still here, and if people are leaving, it's Tuscaloosa County trying to get an early start home. I don't blame them, but we're going to do our best right here because we've already got new kickers. We're going to try to find everybody we can. So, again, just bear with us as we look. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is actually going to be, I think I saw 81.
Yes. Ball is on the 40. Warriors will kick from right to left to begin. Our second half is underway. Kick is going to make its way out of bounds, and that will bring the yellow flag. That will also bring the ball out to the 35-yard line. That's where the Wildcats will begin their first drive of half number 2.
I think I'll know who 81 is if he takes off his helmet. Reveal yourself, young man. That's right. But he gets the tee and a little fist bump from the retriever, and then, of course, he disappears. So, 81, new kicker. But looking now who we have out there, I see Bradley Cochero, so a name that we still have. I'm seeing now number 97, that's Xavier Jordan, a sophomore defensive lineman. He's only 6 foot, 294 over the ball.
On first down from the 35-yard line, under center remains that Wildcat quarterback. Scans that Warrior defense, hands off. They try that left-hand side. Makes his way forward for about 6 yards on first down. It'll be 2nd and 4.
How about this? Number 41. You know the last name, D'Antoine Fagans. How about that? Another Fagans has made his impact on Thompson football. I love it. What a great family, too, man.
2nd and 4 from the 41. Just underway in the second half. Warriors with a 42-0 lead. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. Now we've got a whistle on this play. And they're going to send somebody off because the pants are above the knees.
Yeah, and I was going to call his name, too, because I've known C.J. Daly my whole life. C.J., I hate this is the first time I'm saying your name, but he's going to be a stud defensive end. He's only a freshman, already 6'3", 230. He's just intimidating when I see him in the parking lot now, but still, hey, Mr. Pavlik, how's it going?
Second down and 4 from the 41. Handoff. Try that middle again.
Ball came
Didn't
loose.
work again. Now the ball is loose, and there is a Warrior on top of it. And it is Warrior football.
And there I said his name now, Bradley Cochero. He's been doing such a great job all season, not just in this game. But here he is crashing down, just ripping at the ball. It comes loose, pops loose, boop. And then there's Bradley falling on it. The big man just covering it up. Gets a huge fumble recovery. Well-deserved. I can't be prouder of a guy who has earned his way to some playing time on this incredible defensive line. Now you got to worry about Bradley Cochero, too.
Ball on the 42. Zealand Danielson, the Warrior quarterback, with 2 to the near side, 1 to the far side on first down. In the shotgun formation, sends a man in motion, fakes the handoff to him, quarterback keeper inside the 40, fights for yardage down to about the 37-yard line. Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5.
Yep, just reading off there, I saw Sully Cole. He's an offensive lineman senior, 5'11", 235. He told me he was really 6'5", 275 in case any scouts heard him, Tim. So, Sully, you owe me.
2nd down and 5. Ball at the 37-yard line of the Wildcats. Man in motion again. This time they're going to give it to him. He's going to try that right side inside the 30, inside the 20.